Hola, chicas y chicos, bienvenidos al video clase de español online. Buenos días, España, lección 7. Conmigo, Catherine. ¿Jugamos al bingo? Para empezar, should we play bingo to start with? Quickly write down 6 different numbers between 1 and 20. Pause the video now and do that. Venga, ¿estás listo? ¿Estás lista? Are you ready? ¡Jugamos! Cross off your numbers as you hear them, but don't forget to repeat the number in Spanish after me. 1, 4, 12, sí, 12, 19, 3, 13, 13, 7, 10, 2, 11, 16. Excelente. 5, 17, 20, 6. Even if you've got bingo, carry on repeating those numbers. 14, 8, 18, 9 y 15. Bravo, muy bien. So today we're going to look at some nouns that are animales. It's our target words for today, and some colores as adjectives. And we've also got some habitats for those animals. They're quite common mascotas, pets. Some of you may have one of these at home. And we're going to make some funny phrases with these in a minute using the verb veo, I see, at the start of our phrase. Our nouns, if you'd like to practice saying those with me, are un pez, un ratón, un conejillo de Indias, una serpiente, un hámster. That's a fish, a mouse, a guinea pig, a snake, and a hamster. There's a blue outline on the masculine nouns, and those are the ones where our indefinite article starts un. The ones with the red around are una serpiente, which is a feminine noun. Then we've got our adjectives for our phrases, which are going to be these very nice colours. Rosa, marrón, gris, naranja, y morado. And then our habitats, we have a cage, a basket, a fish tank, and a rabbit hutch. So the first one is fun to pronounce because it has the J sound at the beginning. Una jaula. You try. Una jaula. Then we've got una cesta, un acuario, y una conejera. And we're going to start our phrase, remember, with I see, veo. So here's my funny phrase, veo una serpiente morada en una cesta. So I put the verb, the noun, then the adjective. As in Spanish, we like to name, then describe. And then I'm going to put the place, and I'm using the preposition en, in, because most of these animals are going to be either in the aquarium, in the basket, in the rabbit hutch, or in the cage. We hope, unless they've escaped. You'll notice that I've used the text in different colours here. We've got the red text to show when I'm talking about a feminine noun. In this instance, the snake, and also to show that I've changed the adjective to the feminine as well, because morado, I can, because it ends in a vowel, I can change my o to an a to reflect that the serpiente is a feminine noun. Ahora tú, now you. Why don't you have a go at writing a funny phrase? If you've learnt Spanish before and you know about your un and una words and your els and las and your boy-girl words, try and get that right too. And maybe even have a go at adjusting the end of morado if you need it. Pause the video and have a go at writing your funny phrase. You can always send me an email of your work. I hope you had fun making your funny phrases, or maybe you wrote a very realistic phrase, like I see a grey mouse in a cage. Now we're going to look a bit into how we ask people how they're feeling. In total, by the end of the class, we'll look at 3 different ways to ask people how they're feeling, depending on your relationship to that person. So we're going to look here at a very friendly way, an informal way of saying, how are you? With our app, buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Buenos días, good morning. We're going to do our question mark fingers for the question, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? We're going to say, are you good? ¿Estás bien? Or no lo estás? Or aren't you? Buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? And the first time round, the rap answers, estoy bien, I'm good. Gracias. The second time round, we're going to say, today I'm not good. Hoy no estoy bien. So try and join in with my actions. Good morning. Do the sunrise. The double question marks. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Are you good or aren't you good? Buenos días. ¿Qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Estoy bien. Gracias. Buenos días.
Buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Estás bien o no lo estás? Buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Estoy bien, gracias. Buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Estás bien o no lo estás? Buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Hoy no estoy bien. Buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Estás bien o no lo estás? Buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Estoy bien, gracias. Buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Estás bien o no lo estás? Buenos días, ¿qué tal? ¿Qué tal? Hoy no estoy bien.
Now you see at the top of the screen, I've also put como estás, using that verb estar, to be. So how are you? And you'll see it crops up lots in the rhyme. Estás, you are or are you, and estoy, I am. So we're next going to look at a little dialogue where there's a boy called Peter learning Spanish, and he has a Spanish friend called Pedro who's really helpful. And we're going to see how now we introduce our third way of asking how are you, which is when we're talking more formally. So to your head teacher, or a grown-up that you don't know very well, or maybe a doctor, or a famous person, or if you just want to be really polite and you, for example, if you don't know somebody and normally call them by their first name, if you're addressing them as Mr. or Mrs. or doctor or professor, then this is the way you would ask them. You would say, ¿Cómo está usted? So it's 3 words instead of 2. And that's the best way to remember it. And it's, oh, I need to use usted instead, is a good way of remembering that in your mind. So it's ¿Cómo estás? Or ¿Qué tal? When you're talking to someone of your own age or that you're friends with and you would normally address by their first name. Whereas if it's someone you would address as a Mr. or a Mrs. or that's perhaps in a position of authority like your head teacher, you would use ¿Cómo está usted? How are you? So we're going to have a listen now. And Pedro, he gets it wrong, just like everybody learning a language sometimes makes mistakes. When he meets Pedro's little brother, who's 4 years old, he tries to greet him in the formal way, and Pedro corrects him. Then he meets Pedro's abuela, grandmother, and he greets her in the informal way. But as they've only just met, that's not really appropriate. So Pedro corrects Peter and asks, could he ask her, ¿Cómo está usted?
Hola, Pedro.
Hola, Peter. Este es mi hermano pequeño. Tiene 4 años.
Buenos días. ¿Cómo está usted?
No. Se dice, ¿cómo estás?
Vale. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Peter, esta es mi abuela.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
No. Se dice, ¿cómo está usted, señora?
¿Cómo está usted, señora?
Bien, gracias.
So he got it right in the end. And Pedro's abuela, Pedro's grandma, was good. Thank you. So bearing that learning in mind, that when it's another child that you're talking to or someone that you know very well, you can use ¿Cómo estás? How are you? Whereas you need to use usted instead if it's somebody in authority or older than you, or that you would call Mr. or Mrs., or that you don't know very well. So let's have a look now. Which one would you use for these people? ¿Cómo estás? Or ¿Cómo está usted? Have a little think. That's right. For Boris Johnson, you would need to ask him ¿Cómo está usted? Whereas for the niño, for the boy, as a child, you can definitely ask him ¿Cómo estás? Now, what do you think they might answer back to you, looking at the expressions on their faces? How do you think they're feeling? And how would you reply in Spanish? Thanks for joining me today for Español Online. And I hope you enjoyed today's video lesson. Hasta luego. Ciao, ciao.